What up, YouTube? In this video, I want to talk about, I feel like this big realization that I had, um, that I think is opposite to a lot of people's advice in dating. And it's like, I guess, this theory that I have about how, women actually get into relationships and how it differs from men, and why I think, a lot of the kind of pickup artistry, techniques and stuff actually doesn't work. So I'll explain kind of the way that I believe, women think, and the way that I believe men think. Um, and this is not even just my belief, like swear I observed this. So I think men, the way that men naturally are, is that we um, build things from the ground up, right? We'll build infrastructure and cars and relationships and just projects and life goals. We just build it from the ground up, right? But from the very start, 0 to 100. But women's natural mindset is to exist safely in something that's already built. So their mindset is almost like a paradox. They want to exist in something that is safe, and already established, but they can't start. They don't start the building process. That's usually what the men do, how men think. So I'll explain how this relates to dating. So I think this is why a woman can like a man and actually still resist him, still turn him down at the start, a man that she doesn't really know well, because it's she doesn't know him well enough. um and this is very confusing to a man, because a man's like, I want to take you out on a date because I don't know you, because I'm trying to get to know you. But a woman's like, I don't want to go because I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? They, for the same exact reason, they don't go. That's the reason why we want to go on the date. So this type of thing is crazy, because I'd been talking with women before, just in public at bus stops and stuff, and I'll, maybe making them laugh, making them blush, and I've been told many times just by people throughout my life that, I should be a model and stuff like that. So, I have this kind of, like, I don't want to say like arrogance, but it's like a kind of self-awareness, like, I'm not always on socially. Sometimes I say things that I'm like, that didn't go well. But there'd be times where I'd be talking with a woman in public, and I'd be making her laugh, making her blush, everything, and then I'd ask for the number and she'd be like, no, or whatever. And she might even be laughing, still laughing and smiling, but she'll still say no. And I was like, what the heck? This just doesn't make any sense. I'm like, I'm being told that I should model. I'm being, I'm making the girls laugh. I'm, asking her questions about herself. But then at the end of the interaction, she doesn't want my number. Or she'll take it and actually be excited about the date. But then when the date comes up, she'll flake and I'll never hear from her again. And I see this same thing. I had this coworker who's literally like the definition of like a giga chat. This dude is like 6'3". He's just absolutely shredded. He's a gym trainer or a workout trainer. Handsome, very sociable, can talk it up with anybody. But this dude, when he would ask out women, he said they just don't go for him. They just don't go for it. And he says even with his clients, he can't seem to find clients for his workout program, uh, like anyone who isn't like either gay or like an older lady, like a gay man or like older women. And obviously he's probably joking to an extent, but at first I asked him, so why do you think this is? Why he doesn't seem to have that much success with women, who's this dude's just an absolute giga chad. And then he said I scare women. That's what he said. He said women are scared of him. And at first I thought, okay, his mindset is just he just has a negative mindset. And then as time went on, I thought, I think this guy's actually right. because I kind of had, you know, like this similar experience where I'm like, I'm the women are reacting well to me, but then they don't go out or whatever. And I think I came to this conclusion. I was like, women are attracted to boldness. They're attracted to strength, the man who is strong, the man who is bold, who will ask them out, who will, talk with them. But at the same time, they are not bold, and women are generally not strong. So they can't participate. Does that make sense? Like, we are bold and strong, and they like that, but they aren't bold and strong, so they can't participate in it. So it's not mutual. So the woman can maybe attracted, but when you ask them out, it's too much at once. They can't process it, especially a lot of women, even with their when they're with when a handsome man asks them out, they're not like men. Men are trying to go for the best that they can get, the prettiest woman they can get. But I found that women often, they rather organize themselves in how, thinking, are they good enough? They think, oh, I think he's more handsome than me. His looks are better than me. So they'll actually turn themselves down. But regardless of what you think your looks are as a man, I think that women take longer to process, and they will actually give up a lot of opportunities if they think that you are just moving too fast, and it's not too fast for us. For us, we're just trying to go out and get to know her. But a lot of women, maybe they think, oh, we're just trying to have sex on the first date, or however, or even if they're sexually attracted, then they don't go, because if the woman, women obviously lust and fantasize sexually just like men do, but women still turn down a ton of men. And is why even on YouTube you see, these pickup artists who are super handsome, super funny, but they'll get turned down over and over and over and over again. It's almost as if, the woman has these sexual fantasies, and then when that type of man approaches her, then she turns him down. And I even see, memes like this, women saying on Instagram, they say how I act when I'm attracted to a man. And then it's just like her, like, just like looking away and like looking disgusted and like walking away. Because like they run away from their fears. Men, we run towards our fears. Women run away from their fears, even if it's what they like. And people are generally afraid of the things that they like because they don't want to fail in front of those things. So anyways, I'm saying all this to say that I actually believe that you should friend zone women right when you meet them. If you don't have the opportunity to get to know them in a social context. If you get to know them as your coworker, then you can ask them out on a date, probably. Still, they might think that's a little risky to go on a date with a coworker. But I think you should actually friend zone women right when you meet them. Just be like, hey, I would like to get to know you as a friend, and maybe someday, if we're both comfortable with it turning into more, then we can decide that then. Because, like I'm saying, the woman has to be comfortable, and women prioritize comfort, and men generally don't. Men are taught from a young age, your comfort doesn't really matter. What matters is success and getting to the other side. That's what men are taught, but women aren't taught that. And women, I found, aren't nearly as resourceful as men. So women will give up tons of opportunities just because that opportunity makes them feel afraid. So anyways, you have to friend zone them, and then especially if there's a more attractive women, because if she's very attractive, like 8 or above, I mean, I don't want to get too objective on these ratings, but if she's very genuinely conventionally attractive, she has so many men going after her, and that's a lot of pressure for her, and it might even, you know, be kind of disgusting her after a long time of constantly having men hit on her. So you should actually just tell her, hey, I'd like to get to know you as a friend, like, or maybe we can just start as like texting friends or something like that, and then maybe it goes somewhere later. um because that, I feel like, is actually going to make them more comfortable, you know. Like, another way of looking at it is like if you were to feed a baby steak, it's probably going to grow up quicker, right? But the baby doesn't want the steak because it can't eat it, you know. It doesn't have the teeth to eat it. And I think the women are the same way. If you try to ask them out on a date right away, they may be like, okay, I know this is how I can get a boyfriend. You know, maybe they want a boyfriend, and maybe they even like you, but for some reason, not for some reason, they just can't digest all that at once, so they will not show up. Maybe they'll say they'll show up. Oh, they'll say, oh, great, 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 I'm so looking forward to that after, you know, this next 2 weeks, I'm so busy. And they probably actually mean that they actually want to meet with you 2 weeks from now. But then when that 2 weeks comes, what do? Cancel, flake. Oh, I can't anymore, blah 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 blah. So this is why you want to actually, you know, friend zone them first. And recently, you know, I even had there was two women who didn't respond to me um after I asked them out. And then I said, hey, you know what, how about we just be friends and just see where it goes. Both of them this week messaged me back. So I think it actually appears to be working, and it's not really a trick. It's more, I mean, like, there is an extent to it that is semantical, you know. It's kind of the same thing, getting to know each other as friends, even though they know that she likes you. It's kind of semantical, like, you know, related to just the meaning of words and how we perceive them. But to an extent, it's still, it's a little bit different, you know. It's letting them know, okay, you're not expected, you know, to like kiss me or whatever on this time. Now, you know, in regards to my other videos in the past where I had said that, you know, you should be focusing on getting to the first kiss as quick as you can, I think that that is true once it is established that these are dates. You know, once that it's either been verbally said that you're going on a date, it's an actual date, the word date has been used, or, you know, it's very flirtatious, then you can go for the kiss. And I think that's another fear barrier that women have, is that they will resist you, they will resist your physical advances until you do it, like until you kiss them, and then all of a sudden they're okay with it. Which is also another weird thing that women tend to do, which is why I think that will be the second barrier that you have to get through. After friendship, you'll have to go for a kiss, because they'll probably be resisting it to a certain extent. Because I found, you know, that women are very, very confusing. You know, they resist the things that they like. And I'll even drop a link if any of you guys have seen the movie The Notebook. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I've seen like probably 60% of it. I gotta finish it. But there's this scene early on, you know, if you haven't seen the movie, it's one of like the kind of most famous romance movies of all time. And I think there's a book. And throughout the movie, you know, the main character, the man and the woman, I can't remember their names, but they end up falling deeply in love, right? But at the start, she's just resisting him, you know. He asked her out at the fair, she says no. I think he asked her out on the sidewalk, walking, she says no, even though you can see her smiling. You can see her smiling, you can see that she's attracted to him. She's still turning him down. So it's really this interesting thing, and I'm gonna link it in the bio of this video. So go watch that. You'll see her smiling. You'll see her thinking, oh my gosh, this guy is actually kind of funny, but then she walks away and turns him down. So, you know, it's this interesting thing where you see women resisting what they actually like, while men are just the complete opposite. I'm gonna cut real quick. I have a few other ideas, but I gotta go gather my notes real quick. Another good thing about, friend zoning women first is that it actually comes across as less needy, Like, there's, a lot of talk about not ending up in the friend zone, and that's actually, makes sense. But that's that you don't want to be halfway between trying to date her and trying to be a friend. Like, if you get stuck there on accident, that's bad, but you can friend zone women on purpose, and that's okay because it's done by your choice. So you can still look high status, you can still look confident if you're doing it on purpose. You just remain confident, and then she'll think, okay, he's just being my friend on purpose. um it's the dudes who try to take a big roundabout way, you know who like kind of don't imply that maybe in the future you could date. Like, because in my approach, you say, let's just be friends, and maybe in the future something might turn out if we're both comfortable. You have to say if we're both comfortable, because that makes it sound like, you're also qualifying them. You don't just want the woman to think that you already like her, because then again, that's a little bit scary for her, because she's like thinking, okay, you're already ready, and she's not. So you have to say, like, I want to get to know you as well, because I'm most comfortable that way. So then she knows that your comfort, you also care about your own comfort level as well, and you're not just waiting on her to be comfortable, because she's just gonna feel pressure. Um, and I think there's another great thing too, is that it requires way less pre-selection. So if you don't know a woman well, like you met her at the bus stop or the grocery store, or you met her through a friend once who you didn't even know that much, or you met her at some yoga class or something like that. um Women usually want like pre-selection. They want to know that her friends like you, and that you have had other girlfriends, and that all sorts of other things, which she can't see if she doesn't know you well. She doesn't know if her friends like you. She doesn't know if her friends would approve of you. She doesn't know those things. So if you just ask to be friends, it's going to require a lot less of that, where maybe her friends don't know you, but that's okay, because you're asking for a lower level of connection. You're asking for friendship, because you don't ever want to get knocked out the race because her friends don't know you. So she goes to her friends and says, should I go out with this guy? And her friends say, no, we don't know him. And now you're screwed. So it would be better to just get to know her as a friend at first. But if it's in the case of, social circle, um, like she's in your social circle or a coworker, then maybe you can ask her out on a date, because you have time to get to know her as friends in that environment. But anyways, regardless, I think the biggest key takeaway here is that women run from their fears, even if they desire them, even if they desire that thing. It doesn't really make sense, but it's kind of how it is. It's kind of like how like when you're waiting in the line for like a roller coaster at a theme park, like everybody in the line is hecka scared, right? But everybody coming out who got off the ride is like cheering and chanting and like laughing with their friends. You know, that's how women are. They resist at the start, and then they don't then they're happy about the experience once they get into it. But they won't they will genuinely run from their fear, because they're not taught like us men. They're not taught to face fears. They're not taught, okay, get anything at all costs, like, not at all costs, but basically men are taught, like, if Like if you gotta bust through walls and dig under ditches and climb over trees and over mountains to get to what you want, then that's what you gotta do. But women are taught basically to just exist in things that are already safe, and meeting a new man to them is not safe. So because they don't, it's new to them, so they'll rather just not rather they'd probably rather go on a date with you, but ultimately their decision is probably they're going to go home and watch Netflix by themselves, or go hang out with their friends, even if they'd rather be on a date with you. It doesn't make sense in male logic, but to women that's how they think. That's what I'm pretty sure I've came to the conclusion of, throughout my days of cold approach and meeting women in public or church or wherever. Yeah. All right. And yeah, it's not really a trick. That's what I want you to know. Like, you're not tricking women really. It's like, it's good for both of you. You actually get to know them well, and they get to know you too. Yeah. All right. Take care, y'all. I think this is a huge epiphany. So if you follow pickup artists, just know that I think a lot of the time that doesn't work. And I think it can actually be counterintuitive. It's good to know game. You definitely want to know game, and I'll talk about that later. But if you're a super good pickup artist, that can actually be counterintuitive. And you can see this. Go watch pickup artistry on YouTube. You'll see pickup artists, dudes being super funny and making the girls laugh and blush, and then she won't take his number. So it can almost be like, the better you are at pickup artistry, maybe the more intimidating it is for the woman, the more of a challenge that she's coming in front of, and women are, even these days, aren't used to strength. They're not used to remaining in tension, a tense, intense, strong man, because men these days in the West are not really raised to be strong, and women aren't really taught that they need a man. So, and then all sorts of things like people being less socialized because they're constantly on social media, that the woman just can't handle the intensity of your pickup artistry. She just can't handle it. Even if she likes it, it's too tense for her to remain in. They might appreciate the boldness, but they are not bold themselves, so they just can't remain in that sort of intensity. All right. Which is why often if you look at men who have girlfriends, or pretty girlfriends, or even in a relationship, a lot of the time these men actually almost kind of resemble women in a way. They're kind of more sociable. They're very sociable, and they're not as aggressive. I recommend, adding aggressiveness, going for the kiss and stuff, by the second or third date. I recommend combining that with, being socialized. But a lot of the dudes that have girlfriends, I think these days, they're kind of, they can talk like a woman, they can chat it up about dramas on Netflix and stuff. Like, they can relate to the women in a friend type way. I don't know if it was like that in the past, but that's what it seems to be like these days. All right, I think that this is, I don't know, one of my most important videos that I've made so far. So yeah, all right, take care.